Coming up on today's Race Room, we are talking penalties.
We've got issues with track limits.
We've got the tweets of the week.
And of course, Moaning Martha is back.
Let's get on with the show. Welcome to today's Race Room. Here's all the latest for you from the world of motorsport.
Let's begin with the Hungarian Grand Prix. And at the beginning of the start of the race, Nico Rosberg and Felipe Massa getting together at turn 5. But after the first round of pit stops, Jenson Button turned out to be on a two-stop strategy, holding up the lead of the race. Lewis Hamilton just took one lap to get past Jenson. It took 12 for Vettel and Grosjean, and that meant that Lewis Hamilton took the victory ahead of Raikkonen and Sebastian Vettel. Grosjean picked up a couple of penalties throughout the race after various parts of contact. We'll talk about that later. And Fernando Alonso also picked up a penalty for using his DRS at the wrong point.
And Fernando Alonso has been in the headlines for other reasons. There was a supposedly secret meeting between Fernando's agent and Red Bull's Christian Horner. We all know, though, that Fernando Alonso is meant to stay with Ferrari till the end of 2016. So we think at Pole Position this was just merely to ruffle the feathers of Ferrari and to make sure they realise they haven't delivered a championship-winning car for Alonso.
One of the iconic motorsport events of the year was the 24 Hours of Spa this last weekend, and it kicked off in spectacular fashion with 66 GT3 cars. The second place driver spun on the exit of Eau Rouge, and thankfully everyone missed him. It became a two-horse race after 23 hours between Porsche and Mercedes, and eventually the works Porsche was beaten by the HPD car led by Bernd Schneider, who won the event 25 years ago and finally got a second victory this year.
Things are all going to change next year in MotoGP. It's been announced that you can now have 4 riders as a works team. Teams have done it before. We've seen 3 riders being entered into races with the likes of Honda and Ducati. But next year it's going to be 4, so that should make for some interesting racing.
We have a bit of car porn for you now. Sebastian Loeb's car in the 2014 World Touring Car Championship has been released, and that is what it looks like. That is a precursor to what the World Touring Cars will look like in 2014, and I think that looks gorgeous.
Track limits have become a huge talking point in motorsport over the last couple of weeks. First, it was MotoGP with Marc Marquez going round the outside and off track around Valentino Rossi at the corkscrew out in Laguna Seca. He didn't get any sort of penalty, he made the pass and all was okay. Then this weekend we saw more of the same, but in Formula 1 this time, with Romain Grosjean going round the outside of Felipe Massa in the Ferrari. Romain has now got a drive-through penalty, and we want to know what is the difference between these two overtaking manoeuvres. Ben is going to show us.
Well, certainly a similarity is they're both incredibly bold moves, and we are now driving on the P1 rig around the Hungarian ring, heading down towards turn 4 where Romain Grosjean made that amazing pass. The reason it's bold in both senses actually is because you can't see the apex or the exit of the turn. So heading up towards turn 4 then, Grosjean was on the outside and Massa on the inside there, and turns in, it's a turn in late, off track, it's dirty, very dusty, and he just about puts a wheel over the white line so the car is sitting on the curb. Let's now go bird's eye view and show what that means. So as you can see, Lightning McQueen playing Felipe Massa in this particular bird's eye view. And Romain Grosjean is over the white line on the curb, but critically he's ahead of Massa. Massa is already about half a car's length back because Grosjean made such a fantastic pass, and that is what the difference is between the two moves. Marquez was almost forced off track by a late braking Valentino Rossi. They both ran wide and therefore they were both off track. Here, the only person off track is Romain Grosjean, and he's almost completed the pass. Now, if Felipe Massa had been a bit ahead and was forcing Grosjean off track, in my opinion, I don't think Alan McNish, who was the driver steward, would have awarded a penalty for that, and Grosjean might have got away with it. It would have put him in a different position, and then maybe he wouldn't have crashed into Jenson Button, which definitely cost him the 20-second penalty, and that, in my opinion, was fair. Either way, his driving was close to perfection, but not absolutely perfect, and that is why he lost the Grand Prix.
A seriously bold suggestion there, Ben.
Well, track limits is not a black and white situation, it is a grey situation, but I think in both of those occasions, it was quite clear where the penalty should lie.
Well, so much action going on in F1, and if you've missed Pole Position's action over the last week, this is what we've been up to. After Lewis's victory at the weekend out in Hungary, he dedicated the race to his ex-girlfriend Nicole Scherzinger.
And he's been tweeting quite a lot about his emotions towards Nicole, so we thought we'd find out what she's been tweeting.
And we scrolled and we scrolled.
At Nicole Scherzinger, Peri Peri brings people together. Hashtag Nando's.
Not much Lewis action going on there.
That's not Lewis Hamilton, that's for sure.
She's dining with other men. She's moved on. It's too harsh, the poor guy.
Hang on, she's in Nando's as well.
She's getting her chicken fix.
Wow.
Oh, poor Lewis, that's heartbreaking. That is truly heartbreaking.
Let's move on quickly before he starts crying.
Next tweet.
At Mikey Collier. Now that is what I call a cake.
This is Mikey Collier, Jenson Button's trainer, tweeting a picture of John Button, who's Jenson's daddy.
Well, hang on, that's not John Button, that is a cake.
Well, no, that is not, yes,
Papa
exactly.
Smurf.
But he is called Papa Smurf
Yes.
in the paddock, and he wears his lovely pink shirt on Sundays as good luck, and he was 70 this weekend.
Indeed.
So they obviously whipped him up a little cake in McLaren, and that is what they had. Very jealous, looks very tasty.
At Ollie Milroy. Brundle says refueling in F1 would be dangerous. How about at 24 hours of Spa then? A total of approximately 1,600 fuel stops for 120 litres. Man up.
I think off the back of Martin Brundle talking about the dangers of pit stops with the tyres, they were talking about refuelling, and it's quite clear that at 66 cars in a GT race at Spa with a massive amount of fuel stops, that's even more dangerous than 22 cars in a Formula 1 paddock. So
Exactly.
Ollie Milroy, who is a GT driver, is saying, man up, Formula 1.
Get busy.
Yes.
Next tweet.
At fake Susie W. Rosberg is quick. You see, a woman can be a good F1 driver.
So we're not really sure why a fake Susie Wolf account exists, but this is with reference to Nico Rosberg being called Britney amongst his peers.
And that was all about his long, flowing locks that he used to have. He doesn't have flowing locks anymore so much,
No,
does he?
and would we say he was a good driver at the weekend? Oh, that's up for discussion. Okay, next tweet.
At Red Bull F1 Spy. It's on like Donkey Kong.
What is going on there? Christian Horner posing with a donkey. I mean, he's Red Bull, he should be with a bull, surely.
Absolutely, he looks like he's trying to take my job.
Yes, he's trying to do Animal Predicts.
Animal Predicts, he's trying to copy what we did out in Barcelona. It kind of suits him. He could be my sidekick.
Actually, they sort of look similar, don't they? They're like brothers.
Yeah, poor Christian Horner. And that is Tweets of the Week. I'll tell you what's got my goat this week. It's not being able to see a ruddy thing in the pit lane when the F1 drivers come into pit. Since that nasty little accident in the Nürburgring pit lane when Mark Webber's tyre came off and hit Paul Allen for 6, he's the FOM cameraman. He's all right now, but all because his colleague decided to put his camera down and have a rest. Well, now we've got to put up with an aerial view or a view from the pit wall. Well, I want to get down and dirty and see all those nuts and bolts. Know what I mean? And come on, Bernie, me and all the F1 fans, we want to get closer to the action. So bung a couple of helmets on the cameramen and get them back out there. You know it makes sense.
Well, maybe Mr. E will listen to Moaning Martha, because Lewis Hamilton obviously watched our programme last week and saw her moaning about the UK talent, took a victory.
She knows her stuff, Moaning Martha.
All right.
My little helper. Where are we going?
Matt Holder.
Matt Holder extraordinaire. Where are we off to this weekend?
We've got lots of motorsport action this weekend, in fact. Let's kick off with, well, where you're going, Rally Finland.
Up here, just north of Helsinki, that's where we're going. Jyväskylä.
And where am I off to this weekend? World Touring Cars in Argentina, which is somewhere down here.
Yes, sort of around there.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there. Send us a postcard.
I have no idea where I'm actually going. There's loads more action though. In Russia, we have DTM going there
Got
for
a red
the first
star
time.
there. Okay, whereabouts are we heading?
Moscow, there we go.
There we are. Perfect.
And there's the next round of the IndyCar series in mid-Ohio. Helio Castroneves is still
is
in
in
mid Ohio, which is north, isn't it?
Oh goodness, my geography. Okay, it's around there somewhere. George W. Bush, hope you're not watching.
And with that,
Obama.
we've got to go.
We have. I've got to get to Finland.
And I've got to get to Argentina. Quickly, let's go. It's free!
10 seconds, I think.
What, 10 seconds to do your car?
Yeah.
Okay.